Welcome to the channel. It's your favorite pickup preacher, Irish Guy JG. I am in a pickup and I'm preaching, so hey, here we are. This is what we do. This is what I got going on, and feeling a little bit under the weather today, but I'm at work and I'm on lunch right now, and I'm feeling absolutely led to share more of my story, to tell you guys more of where I've come from and how I've survived such a nasty bout with addiction and with other things, and the Lord has really put it on my heart, and I made a pretty heartfelt plea this morning, video this morning, but I didn't post it because I felt like I said something in there that I shouldn't have. But you guys, we've all done things in our lives that we're not proud of, and we've all done things that we regret and that we wish we could take back. And the older I get and the more time I spend learning from my mistakes, I don't know if I would go back and change, if I would change anything. I really don't, because God has me on a path. Forgive me, I gotta get something to drink. God has me on a path now to where everything that I've done in the last 39 years was for a reason. And it's all culminating to points in my lives where I can reach back, and use some of that as an experience and as wisdom and as learning and understanding, so I don't have to make the same mistakes again. But there was a time in my life about 12, 13 years ago where I was at the tail end of my heroin, meth, and alcohol addiction. I was injecting, I was using needles, you guys. I was I was at a stage in my addiction where I was stealing and doing anything I could to get what I needed. Because not getting what you needed means, um, you know, withdrawals. And withdrawals, I mean, some of us, it's diet. Some of us go through withdrawals, and if you were a heavy drug user, or heavy a user like I wasn't a heavy drinker, I was drinking vodka at night. I would wake up and do heroin, and then I would do meth in between, and when I could afford it. And what I'm going to tell you now, and what I'm going to share with you, isn't easy to share. It's not easy to tell people this. It's not something obviously I'm proud of, or that I carry around like a stone tablet, or anything like that. I tell you what, you guys, when I was in the heart of my, or at the tail end of my addiction, I was involved in a robbery, an armed robbery, in fact, and I was the one with the gun. So there was two other people involved. There was one driver, one lookout, and one guy that was going to rob the store, rob the pharmacy. Well, that was me. I went in, I robbed said pharmacy. I got what I needed. I took what I wanted, and we left. Well, unbeknownst to me, and this is how awesome God is, He somehow got my phone, which was a BlackBerry at the time, out of my back pocket, because it was in there like a wallet. In my back pocket, it came up and out, and the rest is history, you guys. I was on the run for a good 12 hours um, before the special operations team got me, and they took me into custody. But those 12 hours, um, were the last. Those were the last hours of my life that I was using out in the world, using illegal drugs, and using intravenous drugs. And that was the last time, because when I got arrested, you guys, and I'm sharing this just because I'm being led to, you guys. Some of you guys that know me that have been on the channel for a while know a little bit about my story, but we may not know this part. But so I got arrested. I was married at the time. I was married and I didn't have any kids, but I was married to a school teacher, from North Dakota. And when I was arrested, she never even came and saw me in jail. Well, I think she might have came and saw me once. I think she might have came and saw me once, but bless her heart, she took everything that we had, and she had been through a lot, but I never cheated on her. I never did anything too terrible. I just was using drugs and had an addiction to drugs and alcohol, and was stealing and selling stuff, And you know, I could see why she wanted to skedaddle, but that left a huge void in my heart for a little while, because I just couldn't imagine. You know, I was married to somebody, and it was a union that we had made together, and I thought it was going to last forever, and you know, thank God it didn't, because now I'm married to somebody that is my best friend. We've been married for so long now, I couldn't imagine my life without her. But and we have kids, and so on and so forth. So you know, you guys, when I was sitting in jail, I was coming down county jail, mind you. I was sitting in the stage, the wing 2. I was in the high max area because I committed a robbery with a gun. I didn't hurt anybody, but there was a gun involved. So I sat in there, and I had unfortunately, I had to come down off of alcohol. I had to come down off of methamphetamines, and I had to come down off all the pills and all the heroin and all the pills that I had gotten at the pharmacy robbery. And best you believe me, I took everything I could. I was taking, I had, oh my gosh, you guys. It's hard to talk about. brings back brings back some old feelings that I haven't touched on in quite some time. Wow. So yeah, I've still got some raw emotions from that, but I've moved on from them feelings and from them voids that I had in my life. Because yes, my wife did divorce me. Yes, she left me with nothing. Yes, my best friend, which was my wife's best friend's husband, my best friend, all my friends left me. They could not believe that Jesse went out and robbed a place with a gun. But you guys, that's the power of addiction. That's the power of what drugs and alcohol will make you or I do just to get our next fix. Now, thank God and thank Jesus, thank the Lord that I don't have to live that life anymore, and that I'm separated from that sort of lifestyle. I'm not needing something so bad that I'm going to put my life at total risk of so much. So much. So sitting in jail, and then after sitting in jail for many months, I raised enough money, you guys. I raised enough money to post bail. I got my butt into treatment, into a faith-based program, into treatment. I got my butt into treatment. I graduated treatment. I went to aftercare. And all this while, my wife now, Marissa, was with me. She was the only one that stuck by me when she found out I got in trouble, you know, and she was the only one that was, you know, and hey, God bless her, but I married that woman, and me and her are together today. So, you know, and her family is my family. Her mom is my mom. Her dad is my dad. They're just like blood family to me, because they took me in when I didn't have a pot to piss in. They took me in when the things looked the bleakest. They came and saw me, and they gave me love, they gave me kindness, they gave me compassion, they gave me all that when I had thought everything I had ever loved or loved me was gone. But now I figured out a new way. There's a new definition for love in my life. And there's a new definition of love that we all have to try and figure out the definition of. But for me today, love is something different than it was before. Just because you put on a ring and say I do to somebody doesn't mean you love them. But I'm telling you, the commitment that you have with Jesus Christ, and that love will grow with him. And my life has been utterly changed in the best way possible. Yes, there's been some bumps, and yes, there's going to be some huge bumps. I know this. But I'm simply a pickup preacher trying to tell you guys that somebody who was living under a bridge, shooting all kinds of drugs, doing all kinds of bad things, carrying guns, robbing places, I'm lucky to be here. I've seen people lose their lives over drugs. I've been involved in that lifestyle. It's not something that I like to talk about or gloat about or tell war stories. But today, my friends, my beautiful friends, My brothers and sisters, today the Lord has given me permission to share more of my story. And it's really permission, because I don't feel like I should be sharing too much of my story when really the channel is about Him and about love and about compassion and kindness and loyalty to the relationship that we have with God. Because through His Word, we are learning so much on the channel. And I've gotten emails from people, I've gotten texts, I've gotten calls, I've gotten comments, I've gotten replies, insights, feedbacks, and I've gotten everything telling me that Irish Guy JG, have started a channel that is worth something out in the body. So I'm going to keep moving, I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep sharing with you guys. But I want you guys to know that although I at one point was probably the most hated person in my family and all this and this and this and this, I've graduated from now being the most hated. I've graduated to being the most dependable, the most, funny, the this, the that, the this, the that. But my faith carries me through all them attributes and all them great things that people say about me and my mom and dad and my brothers and sisters and my wife and my family. He's the one carrying me through. So I am nothing without Him. So I just want to remind you guys, if you have a story, I know that it gets hard sometimes, but that story that you have is going to mean something someday to someone, somehow, some way, because you yourself, my friend, could start a channel and start encouraging other people to steer clear away from drugs, alcohol, illegal things, illicit behavior, things that are going to get you in trouble, things that are going to take your mind away from what it should be occupied with, and that's Christ, and that's Jesus, and that's keeping focused, keeping our eyes on the throne. Because you know what, when He comes back, my brothers and sisters, there is going to be an awakening. And I think we're seeing some very, 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 very telltale signs now of what is here and what is to come. And if you guys haven't found your faith yet, and a lot of you have, I know you have, do some soul searching. I thought about it the other day, and I'll let you go after this. I thought about it the other day. If I hadn't been obedient, if I hadn't just simply said no to drugs and alcohol, if I had if I hadn't simply said no to drugs, if I had just simply skirted around and kept doing them and lying and kept hiding it and kept doing, that would have gotten me nowhere. But since the obedience part was set in stone because my wife was pregnant, when I went to treatment, or when I found out my wife was pregnant and was getting out and going to treatment, obviously there was some time in there, and the opportunity for her to get pregnant was in between me getting out of jail and going to treatment. But I got my butt out. I got out. I bailed out, and I went to treatment, and then I found out she was pregnant, and that was my true compass north. That was my true. That was what was keeping me true. I didn't want to use drugs because I didn't want my son to lose his dad. And I didn't, the drugs, at that point in time when I found out she was pregnant, the drugs, I had been clean for a little while. I had been feeling good, and they hadn't had a hold on me. So I feel like God has presented me with every single opportunity and every divine intent on His behalf to better my life, whether through hardship, whether through simple mistakes, learning, wisdom, understanding. He's going to show me the way. And I think when I found out my wife was pregnant, something inside me said no looking back. So I kept on straight forward, and I haven't used drugs since. So it'll be 12 years next August. So I haven't used drugs since, but I did use alcohol for a long time. But I've been free and clear of alcohol for almost 4 years. So the Lord has blessed me with a relationship with His Son, the Son of Man, the Son that shines down on us every single day if you let Him. But it's an opportunity, you guys, to change your ways. And so if I can go from a gun-toting, robbery, pharmacy robbing, no good, needle shooting, no good, scum of the earth person, to somebody who has an opportunity to make the Lord proud, enough said. We got to do it, you guys. We got to do it. Find your relationship with Jesus today. And don't forget, you guys, it's nice to be important, but it's much, much, much more important to be nice. Be nice and kind out there. Show some love, some compassion. It's needed. God bless you all in the name of Jesus. Thanks for listening.